It'll be a good idea to get myself off of mute. But what's up, y'all? Happy Saturday. Thank y'all for joining me. I got my good friend Eduardo somewhere around there. Maybe took up. There he is. Good morning, my friend. How are you? You're on mute just like I was on mute.
I'm sorry. I was connecting from my cell phone because I wanted to have a better connection. I'm really thank you for inviting me once again to this meeting. You know that for me it's always a pleasure to be here with you.
Always, always. I wanna share something funny. So Um, I have so normally when I drink coffee, I'll make like an espresso. And for my Latinos out there, I like to use like a cafetera, like old school. Like it's not even a machine. I have to fill it with water. You put the espresso, normally Bustelo, Pilon, some Cuban coffee, and that's how I do my coffee. But recently, I decided to level up in tier and got myself an American programmable coffee machine. So instead of having the little espresso maker with the little cups, I have an American coffee machine. So you program it, you put it like at a timer, and when you wake up in the morning, all of your coffee, a big what do you call the jarra, the pitcher of coffee, whatever, is filled up to the top, and you have coffee for the whole day. Good dark roasted American coffee, and this has made my life much easier. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Eduardo? I know you're not big on coffee.
No, do you know what? A particular mean do not like the coffee. I mean the coffee is very good. I have tried many times, but I do not usually drink coffee. I drink coffee only once per 2 months if I have the opportunity, right? But I do not prefer to take it because I particularly do not find something very good for me because I don't like it. And but still I know that many people drink coffee. For example, in my office, almost everyone's drink coffee, and if there are not coffee on the office, they are start to asking, hey, when are you going to take to bring coffee because we need coffee, and I understand, and I try to put the coffee all the way for them, but particularly I mean do not like too much the coffee.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to drink coffee, different kinds of coffee. It's a thing. It's almost like a culture. People go to the coffee shop. In fact, I think the culture has more to do with it than the actual coffee. Um, but I like a cup of coffee in the morning. I do, for my health conscious friends out there, I do suggest maybe drinking a cup of water before you start drinking your coffee, and maybe have, a few cups of water in between cups. Just that way, you're not like only drinking coffee. Water by itself is a very important intake. Very small little tip, no big deal, but just wanted to throw that out there. Eduardo, what's up, man? What's new on your side?
Fine. Look, yesterday, for example, I have a party in my office. I have my partner birthday date, and we celebrate until 2 a.m. I like it a lot. I like it a lot because I go dancing. I could pass a good time with my partners and my team. And you know what? Now that I do not drink, it's better because, for example, the next day I wake up like I knew, right? But before, when I drink it, it's like more heavy. You have a headache. I don't know. All the other things that from being drunk, right? But now it's very relievable that you wake up and you don't feel anything, right? You are like new. Not exactly like new because you don't sleep at your time, but it's better, I think, and it's a good idea to not to decide to not drink anymore. But and my diet is very strict now because I consume only proteins and salads because I have the keto style life. So
Keto
I
diet.
improve a lot. Yes, and I like that because I have a lot of benefits and I noticed that. Well, during the
Eh,
week, normal,
Why don't
everything
you
normal.
why don't you explain to us real quick? You said you're doing the keto diet.
Keto
What is that,
diet.
and what do you mean by that?
Yes, keto diet is a diet only where you only are allowed to eat meat, to eat some for example pork or eat only salads. Do not eat anything of carbohydrates. Zero carbohydrates, zero fruits. Uh, Only zero sugar, for example. You only can drink proteins and fats. That's all. And
Okay.
you know what? Did you think that no, it's extremely no, I can't do that. But believe me, after the first month, you really used to that life, and you can do it. You can do it, and you are not hungry during the day. You only need to eat. For example, I normally eat twice a day, only at the morning and the afternoon. You know, at the breakfast and lunch. And normally in dinner, do not eat anything. I do not dinner and I feel well, right? The next day you feel with more energy, you can sleep better. Of course, you have to supplement. Sorry, you have to complement like with another vitamins, but it's part of the diet, right? So I notice a lot of benefits, and I'm going to continue with this life for a long time because I have see many benefits for me, and I like you know,
And
the only thing that sometimes when you go to a meeting or when you go to a party, it's like no, I can drink, no, I can eat this, no, I can eat the other. It's a little difficult when you go to a restaurant to find something that you can eat, right? Because everything has carbohydrates. But what I do, for example, is to ask only the meat or the fat and any other things. And I only eat that, no. So it's a little more expensive. Yes, it's a little more expensive because you have to protein is a little is more expensive than carbohydrates. So maybe you have to take in account that you need a little more budget to your diet. But I think that it's an investment. Your health is an investment. So maybe what you spend more here, you can reduce the expenses in another thing on the future, right? Like medicine and other things. So, but I like my diet.
yeah, man, you gotta put yourself first. Gotta take care of yourself. Do you accompany the diet with like an exercise, like any specific exercise that goes with it?
Yeah, no, not exactly like a structured routine of exercise. I continue with my normal routine that go to the gym almost every day. I'm trying to go to the gym at least five time per week. I I go every day. I'm not going to lie. It's a little more difficult when you do exercise because you feel more tired because you don't have too much energy because carbohydrates give you energy and give you a little more strength. But it's only until your time adapt to your new diet because when your body adapt to the new diet, your energy you get from fats, for example, and you don't need carbohydrates. So in these periods, it takes about a month or in between a month in 3 months you are going to feel a little tired, a little more more tired or anxious at the beginning at least, right? But when you get used to that, it's everything normal. So you becomes you sorry you come back to your normal life and your body is even better. So on the gym, I a little more thinny, but I'm good. I think I can do it. It's only time to adapt.
All right, Eduardo. That was Eduardo with our health corner. But yeah, everybody out there, be mindful, be conscious. Ignore my In-N-Out Burger t-shirt. Eat healthy. I'm just kidding. Every now and then, if you eat healthy and you take care of yourself, then every now and then you can treat yourself to a cheeseburger or some fries. Every now and then. I'm not saying every day. And if you're eating healthy, you can give yourself a treat, as I like to say. But All righty, Eduardo. Just kind of, I was actually allowing time for our friends to trickle in. I know sometimes it takes them a moment. What's up, Wes? I see you. I see you in the chat. We're doing good. Before we dive into it's funny, every week I'm like, we're not gonna get political. This is not a political live stream. No politics, please. Boom! Politics it is. But nah. I mean, you know me. I keep it always respectful. I like to kind of lean in on facts. I don't try to make this the Ramon opinion because you got to have open vision, right? You got to be able to see panoramically, not just two-dimensional, right? So let's see, but just kind of going slow, giving the people a chance to trickle in. All right. Hello. Thank you for joining, Lola. All right. But okay, you know what? Before we get into the meat and potatoes, Venezuela. Venezuela, you know what, Eduardo? You might be a little more versed in this topic. I do know that I have spoken to people from Venezuela in the past, and they were telling me about a struggle that them and their country are going through. Um, can you help elaborate a little bit on this?
Yes, look, on Venezuela, you know that the last recently they have elections, and the actual government that is a side of political side that has been on the power for about more than 10 years. They are still on the power. There are some not clear things that they have done. For example, when you go to the election, you need some paper that says, "Hey, this is a winner because I justify that he's a winner because we have all these votes and we count all of them, and the result is this, right?" So, but they don't have the proof to that votes. As much as I know, the opposition, the opposition show another results, and with a true result, with a proof, and this provoked that many presidents and many other countries do not recognize the actual government because say, hey, show me the proof, like your position did, sorry, like your
Yeah.
position did. So they say, no, I don't have the proof, you have to wait, but I am the winner. So they don't have anything to justify that they are the winner, but they are still in the power. So this cause that many citizens go to the streets, many protests, many international voice speak out about this, and the result is this, right? That we have this problem there, and but since many years ago, Venezuela has have known that because they do not have a clear management in their government, right? So that's caused that many people move. For example, in Peru, my country, we have the more population of all the nations from Venezuela, right? So there are many migrants. About almost 90% of all migrants that come to Peru are from Venezuela. So we have the more population of Venezuela in Latin America here after Venezuela, and but we know how they suffer about this government. They are lack of many things. They are lack of health. They are lack of of public service because they do not have a good management. And now it's like the actual the actual political are stay there on the power, and they don't want to move. So it's very sad. It's very sad to see a nation suffer of this because people is the more affected, right? You cannot you cannot you cannot hide the reality. So in a way, I'm very happy that many other countries now are supporting to people, right? And they are trying to in a way influence to this finish as soon as possible, and they left the power, the actual government.
But But of course, the Venezuelan current government won't tell you that. They won't verbally tell you that there's a problem. They'll tell you everything is okay, right? That
Yes,
that they're not in lack, that everything's under control, that everything is going to be all right. That's what they want the people to believe.
and maybe you have seen all the leaders have started to speak out about Venezuela and how Nicolas Maduro, that is the person, the government that is now on the power of
That's
Venezuela.
the president right now.
Yes, that's our president, and he's very, very. I mean, their words are really sometimes very. How can I say that? Very, with a lot of hate, with a lot of incoherence, because he don't spread well. He many things he start to just say things that are very crazy. Like, for example, Peru is the guilty, the other countries are the guilty that we suffer this. So it's very sad to hear someone like him, and it's very sad to know that someone like him is on the power, because it caused all these problems.
Yeah, yeah. He even called out Elon Musk. Elon Musk, you got 48 hours to respond. You said
Yes.
something to him, he says something back. Like what do you say? Like they said in Caracas, in the neighborhood, if you want it, I want it more. Something like that in Spanish. So Elon Musk, the message was clear.
Yes, the one was funny. I like it because I think that Elon Musk made public that he is not the winner, and Maduro start to replay in TV saying, yes, we if you have a problem with me, we can find together. And Elon Musk started to respond, and it was very funny in a way, because when you read them in Twitter, is in X, sorry, now it's X. It's very funny. And what I know, as much as I know, that what Maduro did recently is that he suspended the service of X in Venezuela for 10 days. So it's like a response.
And
Um, but it's very funny. But in a way, it's good that someone make public what happened, right? Because the world have to know, the world have to decide. Sometimes it's very. I feel that sometimes it's very difficult to accept things only because you have to accept, because each person have a critical thinking, each person have their desires, their belief, and sometimes it's necessary to know the reality, and you decide by yourself, not because the law say what you think, but what you heard and what your reasons say, right? Is better, because if your reason or your hair move, I think that you at least feel free, right?
yeah, like I mean, at this point, everybody has their chance, but when you're given a chance and the people have to leave to search for a better life, then there might be a problem there. I think Maduro might have bigger problems and more people to worry about than Elon Musk. Um, and Elon Musk, I think he has gotten big enough. His voice has gotten big enough that when he speaks to people, they hear them and it gets to them. So, um, I mean, and I don't know, Elon Musk said he was supposed to fight Mark Zuckerberg. And then now, I mean, look, man, just everybody chill out.
Yes, the influence in social media that he have, it's sometimes can shape the political course, right? Because as a leader, they have a big window to arrive to many, many viewers, many followers, and their words have are happy, and their voice is listened to many countries. So
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a way, they can change the course of some political situation.
You're held
No?
accountable. It's not like when me and you talking, a lot of people might not care. But if you're Elon Musk, now when you say something, it's impactful. And I think Elon Musk is an innovator, somebody in our time who has taken technology, taken ideas beyond the capacities of our minds. I think he's a genius, but if I was him, I wouldn't fight Maduro if I was him. And I wouldn't fight Mark Zuckerberg either. I would just keep on, you know, to each his own. I'm not nobody to tell anybody what to do, what not to do. But I mean, if you want to have that stress and beef with people, go ahead, do your thing. It's all good. That's why in America we have that freedom of speech. You say what you want to say. But when someone responds and you're held accountable for what you say, you got to stand on it. You got to, okay, you can't just say something and then when they respond, but isn't it, it's neither here or there. Honestly, I don't even know if Elon Musk responded to what Maduro said. I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny when he was calling him out. But anyhow, I think we got a few people in here, and I'm glad we started this way. And I'm going to use this to kind of segue back into the main topic. So, Maduro, what political party is he, would you say?
I think he's from left. He's from left.
Okay, but be more specific. When you say left, what does he claim to be? What does he tell people he is?
I think that the political party from Venezuela is the social unit of Venezuela. That is the
Okay.
Unit Social Party of Venezuela.
Socialism.
It's, yes, it's socialism. It was founded on 2007 from Hugo Chavez, who is the predecessor of Maduro, and he was the founder of this ideology Venezuela. But it says that when it started this in Venezuela, everything changed. Everything was it started to go for down, right? Salaries, like people lifestyle. So
There
it's
was a
I
decline.
think it was the beginning of the decline of Venezuela. Everyone is free to choose their political. Everyone is free to choose what they want for their life. But sometimes political is so emotional that people do not do not hear their reason. They hear their emotions. And
Ah,
when this becomes,
mm,
when this becomes when this becomes to the source for decide some things happening this, right? You have seen that on the past teach you as, for example, if you see the wars in the past, if you see everything, how everything started, you can see that people do not think the consequence. They are only thinking that in the short periods, they are only focus on emotion, and they act like,
Eduardo,
like
hold.
and
Go ahead.
because the other thing, to finish it, the other thing I read something that you cannot just, the population like a person. You have to judge the population like
Justify.
a different entity, because they do not add reasons like reason. They add in other ways. So when you judge a population, don't judge if you
Judge.
judge a person. Judge, sorry. You have to judge difference.
Absolutely. You made such a strong point. Hold that thought. Give me 3 seconds. Hold that.
Don't worry, don't worry. And but it's very funny what. Sorry, it's very just if we hear what our viewers think about this. No, if they want to say something, they want to give us their ideas. They can write on the chats. They can write on the chats to read their thoughts. Right, something is very important to read what they think.
Yeah. So you hit it right on the doorknob when you said people listen to their emotions more than anything else, pretty much. Now, so now I'm about to hard segue. In the United States, we have our own election going on right now. And we talk about it a little bit here and there. Last time we talked about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump, which that was crazy. That was just like something out of a movie, and it still is, right? Since then, there's been a couple changes. So Joe Biden is no longer running for president. He has dropped out of the race, and now Kamala Harris, the vice president, has taken his place, and now she will be running for president and is the new Democratic candidate running against Donald Trump. Um, Now, here's the thing. Kamala Harris, Democrat, Donald Trump, Republican. Those are the two biggest parties in the United States. There is Robert Kennedy running as an independent, but that's independent, which is not a large party. The Republic, to kind of simplify, okay, Eduardo, do you have any, what is Democrat to, hold on. Oh, I think we just lost Eduardo. It is okay. I'm going to pause right there and give our friend 1 second. Let me go ahead and check on him. Give me 2 seconds, make sure all is okay. Give me a few seconds. I'll be right back. Eduardo, we're good?
Yes, my friend. Sorry, I received a call like I am my cell phone and that was what it finished. But continue.
All right, I'm going to back up just a little bit. So, since we last spoke, a few things have changed. Joe Biden is no longer running for president. He
Yes.
has dropped out of the race, and now Vice President Kamala Harris has taken his place as the Democratic candidate going against Donald Trump. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are the two biggest, most favored political parties in the United States. Robert Kennedy is running as an independent, so he doesn't really lean to either side. To your understanding, Eduardo,
Yes.
when I
Yes.
say Democrat, when I say
Yes.
Republican, what does that mean to you? Maybe explain to me what you think Democrat is, and explain to me what you think Republican is.
Okay, they have different ideology. For example, that I know that Democratic consider, you know, more progressive, like more intervention of economy, like the government have to have more intervention on the economy. For example, they are the democratic normally, support the strongest social safety, to people. It's like to say it's more focused on government, how government can help their own people, right? That like doing this regulation on the economy with another social work from people, right? And the Republicans consider more conservative, right? Like limit the influence of government of the economy, are more for traditional support the traditional family structures, are more like conservative, right? Like they are saying. So they they are they are for me it's like to say here like left and right in a way, right?
Yeah. So, do you think what what would you lean into? It's okay. We're just talking. Which one would you prefer? Do you prefer one?
Look, because of the my experience, I don't have long experience of this, but I have things. I prefer Republicans because when you started to, oh, of course, government have to influence on the economy, of course, but until some point, because when government trying to influence in everything, the government are not known for the best management. So they when they started to influence too much and give people all that they need, people are create a dependency from government have to give me this, government have to give me the other. I want this, I want the other. So we have to let people they get what they need for their own. Sometimes it's health. Still, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to support them in health or in security, in basic. In basics, you can support them, but not in everything. So I am more identified with Republicans.
Do you think someone's circumstance can affect that decision?
Still, it doesn't blame me to my reason, right? For example, I think it depends, right? For example, if I will say if I vote for this candidate because only because he is Republican or only because he is Democratic, will be put me blame myself, right? Blame myself. So I think that's normally I prefer. It still doesn't. It still doesn't mean that we can have a good leader that can notice that the problem and they can change many things, right? Because through the history, many change have done, right? So it's it's a thing that you have to analyze, right? You have to analyze. For example, in the case of United States, if we speak specific for the United States,
Let's do it.
I think that the in United States, as in almost every Occident world, Occident countries or a country from the north, I see that their their political campaigns appeal from emotion more than reason, right? They appeal for being more emotion than rationals, and they connect with the borders like fears, like hopes. Because when you see, for example, the case of Brexit, when you see a leader offering them, hey, we are going to return to be great again. So we are going to do this. If you do this, you do the other. So they appeals to hopes. And sometimes people that do not understand how things work, they believe. For example, I remember many candidates speak in their meeting here in Peru, and they start to say, "Yes, we are going to do this, we are going to do it." And I started to think, how they planning to do this? Because we are a country that do not have this or the other results. So it's very crazy. But people that do not have the enough, cognitive, in a way, in cognitive in a way, skills to resonate about what he said, they only believe, right? So sometimes it's important to analyze information what leader says, because if a leader started to say many information, only give information, crazy, crazy things at some time, you have to think, analyze very very critical if they are if he's a true leader or not, right? Because it's very important to people, and do not blind to say, no, I am democratic and I have to vote the democracy. No, you have to analyze. Still, I could say that I am more identified, but it doesn't mean that I cannot judge.
Yeah, so I feel like it's getting to a point between both parties, there's starting to be a lack of respect. It's like if you're a Democrat, it doesn't matter what Donald Trump says. We already decided before you even talk, because of what party you're in, that we're not going to vote for you. Same thing for Kamala Harris. Some people on the Republican side, nope, they don't, they're not judging what they're saying, even though, like you said, sometimes what they're saying doesn't even get fulfilled, but it's more a personal agenda. I feel this way. I live this life, and this political party will benefit me because I want to live better. And it's just becoming this like when have you watched WWE when two wrestlers are like, ah, you, I'm gonna beat you up, and it's like, come on, man. And then I like I said, it doesn't matter who I like or who I vote for. But when someone's right, they're right. When someone's wrong, they're wrong.
Yes.
We're all
It doesn't
human.
matter.
We can all be wrong.
Yes.
And when someone's wrong, I can be like, hey, that was wrong. And I can say that. I just don't like when someone's biased, when someone's a sheep, when someone is locked in on a thought and nothing can change that mind. That's a very dangerous person to deal with. So, and I feel like the name of the country, my country, is the United. United. I ain't seeing that unity. The red and the blue are fighting each other more than the real enemies.
Yes, yes. You know what? For example, when we are on election here in Peru, what I do, for example, try to be far, far away from TV, far away from the news, without extreme your energy
It
sometimes.
does.
And
It
when someone
does.
starts speaking about politics, I try to not share my ideas. I try to not because I'm not going to change. If I change someone's, I'm not to change anything, right? So I don't try to change anyone's in their thoughts. I made they think that they want when they someone asks me directly, hey, for whom you are going to vote? I say, I'm going to vote with him because I think he's better. No, but I didn't know. Sorry, but I don't want to speak about that.
Hey, right now, I'll tell you one thing, and I will say this name. Um, hold on. Because I know the last name, but the first name, I don't want to chop it up by accident. But hey, Nayib Bukele, that's a that's a president. That's a president. Watch his watch an interview that he did recently. Let me see. It was with I know the last name Tucker, but first name. It's his interview with Carlson Tucker. Watch that interview. They asked him like, Bukele, how were you be able to overcome the gangs in your country and make your country safe? And he said, well, it was impossible. So what did you do? We prayed. He's like, what? He's like, we prayed. We prayed. And he's like, and everybody was okay with that? He goes, everyone in my cabinet is a believer. Because what happens in the spiritual world comes out in the physical world. And he said that he was able to win in the physical world because he ultimately won in the spiritual world. And man, I've never heard a leader talk like that in my lifetime. So I think your political view is rooted in your religious view, your spiritual view. That's where it kind of like begins. Then it flourishes, right? And it goes into other things. But I don't see left, right. I don't see, I see people, and each individual person has their own individual problem that everyone is trying to find a solution for themselves. Now, my thing is this, like right now, every time I watch this anything involving the election, we're going against each other. Like if we're each other's enemy. When Donald Trump got shot, people were saying there's going to be a civil war. So if we're one step away from a civil war, How united are we? Maybe change the name to States of America because the united part is not there. And that's my message today. It's not about who I'm voting for or whatever. It's more like we are our country. And Eduardo, I know you're in Peru, man, but it's all love. You're like a cousin. You're you're still invited to the cookout. But in the United States, we gotta stick together, or they will destroy us. Okay? So we need to come together and rise, or we ain't gonna be strong enough to go against the enemy when they really come. And that's the truth. So I don't know what needs to be done. I don't know the solution, but I think if we are gonna stand together in the same building, looking for the same cause, which is like maybe in this case, the President of the United States. Why? Because we should all want a better life for everyone. That should be the goal. That all people can have freedom, can live happily in peace. And if that's not the goal, then we might have to recalibrate. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Nowadays, and it's on both sides. I've spoken to both sides. I'm like, oh, I'll talk to someone from one side. You heard Kamala Harris talk? Nah, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm like, did you even listen? Same thing the other way. Oh, did you hear Donald Trump? No, Donald Trump. Did you even listen to him? You gotta listen to both sides. Or don't listen to no one. Don't vote, go home, live in a cave. Don't worry about nobody. Do you. And that's okay too. And if you're voting for Robert Kennedy, that's good too. Hey, he's got great points. I wish, he had a little bit of a stronger campaign on his end. But the Kennedys have their own history, and that's another conversation to have. Um, but that's my spiel. So y'all, don't take the thumbnail personal. It's just for the live stream to give the imagery of separation. We can't separate. That'll be our demise. We need to stick together. We have to, or we'll lose individually. So, I get it. There's an election, different candidates, different parties, but we're still the red, white, and blue. Do not forget that. All right, done. Moving on. Take a breath, take a coffee. Thank God it's Saturday. Let me look at the chat. Much love to the chat. Let me see. Go shout outs here. Wait, hold on. Man, I hate it when I try to move the chat, but I end up moving the YouTube screen instead. Hold on. Yeah, shout out to Rob. Shout out to God Bless. Shout out to XS. Shout out to Wes. Shout out to Prophetess Peace. Box Brand. Glad you're all with us today. But I did want to talk about an event called the CrossFit Games. I don't know too much about it, but in Miami there was also CrossFit Games, and I know what CrossFit is. It's like it's like when you it's like a certain exercise that includes cardiovascular and weights, and you do things really fast and you push yourself to the limit. It's a really good exercise, but it is difficult to do. And they have what would seem like Olympics, like they compete, they swim, they run, bunch of different competitions. And it's physical, right? Everybody in CrossFit is in shape. They had the CrossFit Games in Fort Worth, Texas, and something unexpected happened. So one of the competitors drowned. There was, I guess, a competition that involved running and swimming. And it was the running first, and then the swimming was to the finish. So I guess as from what I know, as the person was swimming to the finish line, they went under and they were not able to resuscitate this person.
Did he
And
die?
they, yeah, um, I don't know if I don't know exactly why, if it was a cramp, if it was something that pulled them from under. I do not know. That still hasn't been cleared, at least to me. Um, I just want to recognize the person, um, and forgive me if I mispronounce his name, Lazar Dukic from Serbia. From what I can see, he was a great athlete. He touched many lives. He made a big impact in this community, and they held a tribute to him at the Dickies Arena the day after, or I believe it was today in the morning. Not sure exactly at what time and date, but they actually are going to continue with the CrossFit Games. I'm not here to judge and say if they should or they shouldn't. I don't know. All I know is that someone lost their lives, and that is always a horrible thing to go through, always extremely sad for the family, and we send all our thoughts and prayers to them. Um, Not directly related, but somewhat. I also wanted to highlight um, in Fort Worth the Drowning Prevention Coalition at Marine Park. Um, my daughter was a part of this program, and they helped her learn how to swim. Now, of course, it takes time to fully learn, but they at least help you break the ice, which is sometimes the hardest part of running is putting on your shoes, right? So they help you get in the water, they help you get comfortable. They have programs for kids. You can look into programs for adults. They had a stop the bleeding course, a CPR course, just a lot of safety protocols just in case something happens. If you're at a pool, if you're at a lake, if you're in the beach, you never know what can happen. I mean, in this case, the situation at the CrossFit Games, that person knew how to swim. Obviously, they were competing, so that might be a separate issue. But just when you think about the water, summertime, you want to go to the pool, you want to go with the kids to the beach, and you got to put safety to the front because at the split of a second, something can happen, and we want to make sure that everybody remains safe and having fun.
Yes, and now that you mentioned that, Ramon, there is something that I see, for example, in these events that represents a risk because the high intensity of this sport, the demand of intensity, right? Because it's a physical intensity requirements, right? That put the athletes to their limits. Because when you participate in this, you put your body at the limits, right? So the risks increase a lot, right? Because you can suffer from something, and beside many you have weather conditions, environment factors that can maybe add more even risk, right? So I suppose that in this case, that this Serbian athlete, that it's Lazar Dukic, as I heard,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a person, you know, that was in the competitions, and you know that what the event have to now from this, the event have to learn, right, and have to adapt their safety protocols. You know, when how they respond to this emerging, because it's very I think it's very often that it happens in this kind of event. So the event have to prepare their protocols, very, very strong protocols. They respond to emergency because you have an emergency response. So if you see that everyone it's not it's something is not going good or not going well, you have to act really quickly, really fast to avoid a tragedy, right? Like this. So I know that this kind of event is very rich for the athlete because of the demand of effort. But knowing this, the organization has to put lots of efforts in their doing their work very well. That is safety protocols, very good response to incidents. Love another, you know, recommendation for athletes: see they are healthy before they started to the competition. They have to have a clear filters to the athletes, you know, and it's very important that they pronounce about this and explain people, because sometimes when people say this, feel fears about competition, feel fear that their sons or their relatives practice this sport, because people start to thinking about, no, this is dangerous because of this, but not necessary. But they have to communicate very well to their public.
Or some people think the other way. Ah, no, no, nothing's gonna happen. And they
Yes,
don't
yes.
take extra protocols and extra safety. Because my question is there a lifeguard? I mean, I wasn't watching this. I'm only going off news reports. I wasn't. I was watching the Olympics instead. But uh, was there lifeguards there? Was there people watching? Like, you see a guy swimming and he kind of goes under for like 5 seconds. You don't jump in and try to. I mean, I don't know. Like again, I'm not here to investigate. I'm just here to recognize the life of an athlete that touched many lives. Very. There's no words, man. I really, it's always hard talking about these things because there's no words. It is devastating. I can't even come up with words that can even describe what that feeling would be like for that family. But take care of yourself, please, everybody, in any way. I'm always going to advocate for that. Just like Eduardo is in the keto diet and exercising, my message is learn how to swim. And if you're in Texas, reach out to I just want to make sure I get the right name because these people do such a great work for the community. And let me see. Fort Worth Drowning Prevention, the Drowning Prevention Coalition at Marine Park Swimming Pool. So you can reach out to them if you have kids, if you want to teach them how to swim. I know sometimes it's nervous to go to like a pool and be in your bathing suit. Trust me, I went through that, but they make it very, very welcoming, very comfortable, and we had a great time and we learned a lot. So, let's spread the positive message. They've contributed to minimizing the amount of drownings in Fort Worth. So it's a thing. People like to go out and swimming, and you have to be careful. You have to respect the water. Even though the water can be your friend, the water can also not be your friend. So prayers and thoughts to everyone involved. Prayers and thoughts to everyone around the world. We're all going through things. I know yesterday, Eduardo, I always say leave room for things to happen. I I know this happened. This was yesterday. An airplane in Brazil just just fell with 62 people on board, and it landed in a neighborhood in Brazil, I believe in São Paulo. Like this was so recent, and I kind of had all the topics ready. I didn't do too much research, but man, sometimes, like you said, the news, the internet will overwhelm you, stress you out. Like you got to turn it off for a little bit and like be at peace because, and it's inevitable when you have millions or billions of people, there's going to be good things, there's going to be bad things, and there's going to be things in between. So that's just the world. Just take care of your mind, take care of yourself, take care of your spirit. And always remember to be positive and try to find something to smile about and don't get overwhelmed with so much negativity. I think we are okay for today. Let me look in the chat. All right. Good, good. Glad you guys joined us. Eduardo, let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, yeah. Well, last little thing. Summer is over. Kids are going back to school, at least here in the States. So, again, to all the parents out there, you're doing a great job and keep doing it. Have patience, create a schedule, enjoy the journey. Remember, your kids are only kids for a little while. So have fun. Try to enjoy this time. This is a time to be happy. Watch your children grow, watch your children learn. So, just wanted to give a shout out to everybody going back to school. I wish y'all the best on your first week. Stay tuned, and we'll be here. We'll try to be here as much as we can on the live stream, supporting all of y'all. But That's all I got, man. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Eduardo, any final words for the people?
Of course. First of all, thank you very much for joining us today as with another episode to our podcast. Well, I recommend during this election they try to, they try to take it easy, examine the importance of each candidate, what they say, try to judge them not by their emotional but their reasonable thinking. We appreciate very much that they continue with us. Please make their comments. We want to know their comments. Try to share our podcast. Subscribe to our channels, and we really thank you very much for being today with us.
Absolutely. Eduardo, thank you so much for joining us. We always appreciate you. Everybody in the chat is all love. My name is Ramon. It has been an honor to be here with y'all on this Saturday morning and just talk some ish, right? That's what we like to do here. But I'm leaving with love, peace, and respect. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you.
Peace.